What's something that you wish other kids knew about having ITP that you could share with other kids right now?
That they're not alone, that there are other people out there that will help them with what they're going through, and that it's all right to be scared.
Welcome to our special ITP in Kids series, part of the Beyond the Count podcast. This series is dedicated to children living with immune thrombocytopenia and the families who support them. We'll be exploring everything from diagnosis and treatment to school, sports and emotional wellbeing. We'll speak with leading ITP clinicians, hear from parents who've walked this path, and even chat with kids themselves, giving you a full 360-degree view of what life with ITP really looks like. Whether your child has just been diagnosed with ITP or you've been managing ITP for a while, this series is here to support you, inform you, and empower you every single step of the way. Today I'm joined by Connor and his mum Kim, who are here to share their story on what it's really like to be diagnosed as a kid with ITP. From the first bruises on the footy field to hospital visits, blood tests and big changes at school, Connor talks openly about how it felt and what helped him along the way. Kim also shares the parent's perspective and the challenge of trying to keep life normal when everything suddenly feels anything but. If you're a child living with ITP or a parent supporting one, this conversation is full of honesty, comfort, and practical wisdom. Let's dive in. Today, I'm talking with Connor and his mum, Kim. Thanks so much for joining us on Beyond the Count.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, it's all right.
Now, we're talking today about what it's like as a kid to have ITP and getting newly diagnosed. So, Connor, can you remember the first time you noticed something wasn't quite right, like bruising or feeling tired or...
Yeah, I was playing a footy game and then I was putting on shoulder pads and then I had this weird rash all over my shoulders. And then when I started playing a bit more, I started getting more bruises than normal and they were a little bit darker than usual ones.
Wow, how did you feel when you were feeling those?
Didn't really feel that good, honestly.
Yeah.
I felt pretty scared and nervous because I was wondering like if I got whacked really hard, how big the bruise would be or something.
Mm. And how did you feel about bringing it up to mum or dad?
I felt all right to share it with them because I wanted to know if it was all right or not.
That's good. And what was their reaction like?
I think they were a little bit nervous because, that's never really happened to me before. Mm-hmm. So then it put them off a little bit.
Okay, yeah. And Mum, how did you feel when Connor approached you about his bruising from footy?
I think I had an inkling straight away that something wasn't right, especially with the petechiae, which we didn't know that's what that was at that point in time. I thought at first it was like friction burn from the padding that he was wearing. So he only wore that for about a week to training and to the games. And then we noticed it like on his collarbone and the back of the shoulder. So we stopped him from wearing that. And then he played a game where he got whacked in the shoulder and it was quite big. And that's when I could see like the pinprick marks. So I did the non-blanching test. I kind of remembered, the meningococcal non-blanching test. So I did that with the glass and it didn't go away. So that was my first inkling that something wasn't right, and just the sizing of the bruises. And it wasn't really until he got whacked in the mouth in a tackle and his tooth hit his tongue, and he wears a mouth guard, and his tongue was bleeding. It was just oozing. It wasn't pouring blood, but his tongue instantly went black. And when we were driving home, by the time we got home, the whole tongue was black. And we thought, that can't be from mouthguard impact. So that was on a Saturday. And I said to my husband, I think something's not right with his bruising in his mouth. I think I need to take him to a GP. And I remember Cal saying, are you overreacting? He's just bruising. Yeah. He plays football. But I said, these bruises are different. There's something different with these bruises. So we couldn't get into the doctor till the following Wednesday, but it just didn't sit right. And every time I looked at it, there was something not right. So I called the doctors on Monday and we actually got in for a cancellation that afternoon, and that's when everything snowballed from there.
Yeah. So Connor, what was it like going to, to the doctors for the first time and then to the hospital and then somebody telling you had this
I was very
disease?
confused about what this thing was called, but then I was very scared because I knew it definitely wasn't good at all.
Yeah. Did it cross your mind at all that, or were you confused or nervous a little bit, other than, you sort of sitting there, other than the bruising and that sort of stuff, you were genuinely or generally quite healthy, especially looking at some of the photos that we've got from Mum. Did it feel weird? Like, was it just weird?
Definitely.
Yeah. I remember when I was diagnosed, somebody telling me that I had ITP, and I was like, what? What's that? I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it can be a little bit, a little bit different. And it's different for absolutely everyone.
Yeah. I think we remember the GP, I think, told us in the appointment, he's like, we'll send him for a full blood count. And he said, I think he's got ITP. And I just ignored it because I was thinking, is it leukemia? So I don't think Connor really understood at that point in time what leukemia was. So we kind of kept that quiet. And then it wasn't until that night the doctor called and said his platelet level was, I think it was 9,000. His white cell count was out. His neutrophils were out. And he said again, I think he's got ITP. And I just said, has he got cancer? And he's like, you need to get into the emergency department. He'll be admitted with peds. They'll be in touch with Brisbane. And that all happened, and we still didn't really get that proper diagnosis for probably even 2 weeks when we did our outpatients appointments, because the cells kept getting checked in Brisbane to exclude anything else.
Yeah, absolutely everything. Yeah. And what was it like kind of having to have all those tests done and back and forth to hospital and that sort of stuff?
It definitely hurt because I haven't had blood tests before. And then, it was very nerve-wracking because, because I had to have multiple cannulas and I didn't really understand what was going on at all.
Yeah. So do you look at the blood as it's being pulled out, or you are you like me? Do you look at it? Oh, wow. No, so I can't look at it. Even 10 years in, I still can't look at the blood being drawn out. That's pretty cool. I have to give you kudos there. Definitely. So knowing that, obviously, okay, so it's taken 2 weeks for the diagnosis, and, everything has obviously changed by this stage for you, Connor. Like, no more footy.
Yeah.
Not knowing what's going on. How did it change, your daily life, and how did it change, things like school and stuff?
It definitely changed my normal life a lot because I was always outside doing physical stuff, like either footy or just at home doing something physical. And then I couldn't really do anything. So then when I went to school, I had to go down to the library every single day because there was nothing I could do physical at all. And it was really sad because I had none of my friends with me for a while.
How many books did you read?
Quite a bit.
That's good. Utilising your time a little bit differently. And I suppose, Mum, how did your life change being the parent in this scenario? How did it change the way that you guys as in the family unit, the day-to-day, you were saying that, you work at the hospital as well, so that's, beneficial, but it's still a massive change.
Yeah, it was pretty hard because the doctors tell you, we can't change the child's life too much. Don't drastically change it. However, they can't ride a bike right now. They can't skateboard. They can't rollerblade. They can't jump on a trampoline, dive into a pool, play contact sport. So we were kind of thinking, well, what's left? What else can he do? And it was terrifying being told what ITP is and what can happen and this and that and everything. So I think we unknowingly went to the extremes to try to keep him safe, especially at school. But we were lucky in the sense of Connor's teacher at the time, and her husband's the principal of his school. I think it was 26 years ago, their daughter actually had it. So they were very, very familiar. She was, I think, 1 year old when she was diagnosed with it. So, you know, they knew straight away what it was, what to do. As sad as, you know, they kind of went on the journey again with us, which was sad for them. But they, you know, the school was great. All the teachers were great. We met with them. He was going to the library for a long time, but the teachers got in touch with us and said, you know, he's being withdrawn. He's very sad. He can't keep doing this. So I think that's when we spoke to the PED, because we were doing the whole 6 to 12 month, you know, the wait and watch kind of situation, which wasn't working for Connor. So we spoke to the paediatrician, and I think that's when he put us in touch with QCH Hematology, and we spoke to Dr. Paddy, and he gave us the options of treatment, and he said if we wanted to start it, we can start it at any time. That's fine. He said to us, we read what we think would suit Connor. So we did. Connor wasn't interested in the injection treatment because of the amount of blood tests and everything else he's had. So we went with the Revelade. We thought that would help suit him, and we started that in the February 2025, and that's what he's still on now. And sometimes I think I wish we started it sooner, because we didn't really realize how down he was getting. And just to have everything stripped away, it's very difficult as a family too, you know, trying to keep it all together and go with what works. And
well, there is, but there's also that woulda, coulda, shoulda. So you don't know what you don't know. And, you know, Connor, how did you feel, you know, having to go to the library and sort of isolated from your friends? And, you know, Mum mentioned and teachers mentioned that you were a little bit withdrawn. How did you handle that? So any other than sitting there reading books and going to the library, was there anything else that, you know, potentially helped you or didn't help you before being on treatment?
My PE teacher helped me out quite a bit.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
And how'd they help?
He went down to the library with me every second day and did some games with me, which definitely put me in a better mood than just sitting in a corner on a couch with a book.
Yeah.
Shout out to Mr. Zammit.
Yeah.
But it's those sorts of people that can really help shape and change, life from day to day as well, especially when you're dealing with something where you've been told you can't do this and you can't do that, but you're so used to it, you've been doing it for a long time. Because how long have you been playing footy for?
7.5 years.
Yeah. So a really long time, more than half your lifetime. So you didn't you don't really remember a time before not playing footy. Now all of a sudden not being able to. So that's going to be really challenging and really hard. So how do you feel now being on the treatment and how it makes you feel?
It's definitely made me feel better, because I'm not as tired anymore, and I'm not as sad because I'm allowed to do more stuff with my friends at school and just at home more.
So kind of with the treatment now, you know, we talked about, you know, it's all working for you now, and you're enjoying being on it, but you know, are there things that aren't cool about it that you're not enjoying about it?
2 hours to eat stuff.
Yeah, it's challenging, isn't it?
Probably the main thing.
Yeah. Especially ice cream and dairy and all the calcium and all the cool things, right? Yeah. So it can be really hard. And have there been any other, you know, even before starting the treatment, what are some of the other side effects and the things that you noticed in yourself?
Tired.
Yeah.
Definitely the main one.
Yeah. And can you describe the tiredness?
Felt very drowsy, like I couldn't really move or anything at all.
Like walking through thick mud?
Yeah. And I just didn't speak much either.
Yeah. It takes energy, doesn't it? Because you've got to think about it and then say it. So I do understand that.
Thanks to our sponsor Sobi for their ongoing support of ITP Australia and New Zealand and our podcast Beyond the Count.
What's something that you wish other kids knew about having ITP that you could share with other kids right now?
That they're not alone, that there are other people out there that will help them with what they're going through, and that it's all right to be scared.
That's good. Are there any certain any things that you did to help that helped you when you were feeling that way?
I don't really
Talking to
remember.
mum, maybe?
Yeah, just talking to people about it.
Getting it off your chest.
Mm.
No, I understand. And I hear that you've made a bit of a connection with somebody else that's got ITP too.
Yeah, kinda.
Yep. So you've got someone there to reach out to if you need to chat to somebody that's around the similar age.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. So, Mum, what about you? What about, support that you and Carl have had or needed throughout the journey that you may not have received or that you did get that,
I think our first was you, to be honest. I'm trying to remember how I contacted you. I think we literally Googled every website possible when he was diagnosed because we didn't know anything about it. And I think I came across your page and just shot off a message. So I think having you to talk to, that was a huge impact, on our family because you told us everything. You were always there. One of our friends, I knew her husband was sick. It was about 10 years ago now, and he actually had ITP. And then since then, it was Connor's teacher's daughter. A couple of years ago, one of the midwives I work with, her husband had it. So there's been 7 people just in our community that have had it.
Yeah.
And they all got over it. I think
Went
maybe
through remission.
by because they were adults as well. Treating us with pred, but I think it was more of like a 2-year time frame. But they're all still in remission.
Wow, that's really, really promising to hear. But because from an adult perspective, you don't see a lot of people go into remission, whereas the spontaneous remission is normally for the kids with ITP. Yeah. But only a couple of the lucky ones, Connor, they get to this stage and get to continue having ITP. I've at times I feel like it's my my superpower. I get to, help people and connect with all these amazing people that have also got something as rare as ITP, and we get to talk and connect, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Do you have a message Kim, that you would like to give to parents with that if their kids are just been newly diagnosed or they're going through the thick of ITP?
First and foremost is probably connect with you, connect with the doctors, ask as many questions as you want. There's no wrong question to ask. If something doesn't, feel right, talk about it, ask about it. Not every situation and treatments, right. Like, for example, Connor, we understand, the recommendation is the 6 to 12 months wait and watch, because I think they told us 90% of children get over it in the 6 to 12 months time frame. But when you're going through it, even waiting that 6 months, that's very difficult, especially with a child who is athletic, but it's even if they're not, it impacts their life and their family's life. Even though we're not the ones who have it, it's probably different for us going through it than what it is for Connor to go through it. But just anything you want to ask your doctors, just ask. And I think that shared decision making as a whole is very important for everyone.
Yeah, and I think too, trusting your gut.
Yeah,
really
definitely.
trusting, knowing, because you knew, you mentioned that you knew that something wasn't quite right. So, Connor, you even at footy realising that, something wasn't quite right. So, trusting your instincts, I think is really important as well. And, reaching out for help wherever you can get it from,
Yeah.
I think is probably one of the biggest things, because you don't know what you don't know. The vast majority of us pre-diagnosis had no idea what ITP was. In Queensland, they are the income tax professionals. But outside of that, I had no idea about it, and the vast majority of us don't. So ask as many questions as you possibly can.
Yeah. Even the doctors, like, touch wood, we haven't had to go back to emergency in a bit. It's probably been over a year now. Even a lot of them didn't know what it was. And then when we explain, like a platelet count of 5,000, then it's like panic mode. Yeah. Then they realise, something's wrong.
Yeah, exactly. And this is why we've done the wallet card too, right? In the emergency department, they're dealing with so many different crises and so many different things. They can't be expected to know everything about something like 7,000 rare diseases. They can't be expected to know everything about every rare disease, right? So the more that we can help them, the better.
Yeah, definitely. I think as hard as it is, try to deal with it as in any way that we can, really. But I found that joining like a community, reaching out to people, that's really helped. We were lucky enough to meet a family online. I think it was through yourself, up north. The boys are very similar in age, both play football, both on similar medication. That's really good to have someone, as obviously as sad as it is, you don't want another child to have it. No. But to be able to talk to someone in the same situation, that's really helpful.
Yeah. And I think having somebody that just gets it, because, and you touched on this earlier, is that, Connor, we spoke about how withdrawn and everything that you got, but for you, Kim, and for Cal, the emotional roller coaster that you guys were potentially going through as well, and what you're experiencing is just as important that we support you guys as well. So because you're carrying the load in a lot of this as well, and the fear of leukemia, and especially at the beginning, and then making sure that Connor is having his medications, and all the little bits and pieces as well, picking up scripts, talking to doctors, that sort of stuff as well, is quite a bit of a load as well. So I think that we need to really look at the whole family unit, not just Connor. We love you, Connor. We do love you, but it's everybody. It touches everybody. ITP doesn't just impact us as patients. It impacts our families as well. It's something that we need to remember.
I think as the time's gone by now, things are getting back to normal, or the new normal. The beginnings, the first 6 months were the hardest of our life, with the ongoing tests. I don't know how many tests he had, how many times he was cannulated, and just to see them, in that hospital bed is horrible. But it is definitely a roller coaster. It still is. Some months, his tests are good. The next time they could be not so good. And I know you say all the time, and the doctors say, like, don't focus on the platelet count. And that's still something that we still try to get our head around. It's more about how he's feeling. Yeah. Because I don't know, I think you just want them to keep climbing just because you think that's what it should do, but it's not necessarily what it's going to do.
Yeah. Exactly. And, platelet counts go up and they go down, and they go left and they go right, and they don't necessarily, sit still. So that's normal as well. Like I do say don't focus on the platelet count, but in that first couple of months, we're so heavily educated to look at that platelet count. We have to retrain ourselves to disconnect ourselves from that platelet count. But even now, sometimes I still get focused on the platelet count. So it is normal, but it's about looking at Connor as a whole, not just one little piece. Is the fatigue really bad? Are you bruising? You know, are you starting to withdraw a little bit? Well, then maybe let's have a chat. Let's get Dr. Patty on the phone or on email and go, hey, look, what's going on? So they're the things that we strongly recommend doing, but you guys know what you're doing.
Yeah. I think the bruising anxiety. Yes. We didn't know that was an actual thing, like an emotion. And that still gets us from time to time. You know, he definitely doesn't bruise half as bad. Bruise, I guess, just like you used to without ITP, if he whacks himself really hard. But the big difference is the hematomas. He does not get them anymore. And that was really awful to see that. Like, ice has become his new best friend. Even now, if he does whack himself now, he still will ice. I think the school was calling multiple times a week for months on end. They had a never-ending supply of ice on hand, you know, and as soon as if he gets the ice on it, we notice, you know, straight away it helps like so much.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
that's good to know. That's good to know. But you touched on it there. The anxiety around and the stress that it triggers for seeing a bruise, it can shift your perspective. It can change the way you start thinking. You know, you start to spiral. Are my platelet counts down? Do I need to seek medical assistance? You know, is there any other bruises on me? You know, those sorts of things. It does trigger. And unfortunately, it's something that sticks around for a very long time. Even post remission, sometimes it does tend to come back. So unfortunately, it's something that may potentially be lifelong.
Yeah, even now with his counts, like, you know, in a really good range, he'll still get petechiae, and then, you know, it's kind of like a backward step, isn't it? We think, oh well, these results are gonna drop, but it can surprise us and be higher, and it's like, well, why is it still there? So, you know, we used to Google everything, and we're always told don't Google. But, you know, then when we speak to Patty and he's like, I'm really happy with his levels at the moment. And I was like, oh, but, you know, he's bruising. He's still got we call it the rash, the petechiae. Yeah. And he said he will still get that. But even with our other child, you know, because we are so fair with our skin tone, and Theo, our youngest, was quite anemic growing up, so he bruises too. But even now, if he tends to get a bad bruise, it's like, you know, do we need to get him checked out? But they already wanted us to do that after Connor was diagnosed. So Theo was checked. He was fine, but it's crazy though, because the three of us, myself and the two boys, we all had the same pneumonia virus. Connor and I got it at the exact same time, and we were really sick, and he had a partial collapsed lung from it. And then I think it was 3 weeks after he got better, that's when the bruising and everything started. So that's what they put it down to.
That's what triggered
that
the immune system.
Probably triggered it. Yeah.
And that's the thing with ITP is it's so hard to really pinpoint the why. But some people, you know, like yourselves, you know when that sort of trigger happened, and there are other people out there sort of going, could have been this maybe. And, you know, talking to, you know, the bruising and Connor, you getting petechiae, even with a higher platelet count, you know, some people do that. I don't generally get anything until my platelet count's really low and the bruising starts. And I'm talking 30, 40 bruises all over, and then the wet blisters in the mouth. Whereas some people can have a single-digit platelet count and have no symptoms at all, which is really weird. So, and there's still a lot of research that needs to be done, but we're getting there. We've got some really good scientists and really good researchers, both here in Australia and internationally, doing a lot of that work. So, and there's a lot of other new treatments coming down the pipeline as well, to help kids as well as adults, which will be cross fingers and toes, they'll be here in the next 5 to 10 years or so. So, really hoping that these treatments make a difference. So, so while you may be on one treatment now, Connor, if you don't go into remission, or if you do go into remission and do get ITP as an adult, it does come back for some reason. Know that there's going to be a whole new world of treatments out there as well for you too. So, and I'll still be around, and ITP ANZ will still be around. We'll catch you. It's all good.
Yeah.
You'll know where to go.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, guys, for joining us today. It's been absolutely wonderful chatting with you guys. I've loved being there through the journey and watching Connor, go through the roller coaster, as you said, Kim, but to then get into the gym and now footy season sort of coming back around again. So depending on how all things go, hopefully cross fingers and toes. But I do have one final question for you, Connor. One final question. What team do you follow in the NRL?
Dolphins.
Ooh, Dolphins fan. There we go. How do you rate them for this year?
I'm hoping a solid 10.
Ooh, nice. Well, I'm a Cowboys fan, so same state, but let's see how they go together.
Yeah.
And they play against each other this year. I'll have to text your mum.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, guys, for joining me. And I'll talk to you guys very soon, and good luck.
Thank you so much for having us.
I hope you all got a lot out of today's episode. Before we wrap up, here are 5 key takeaways from our conversation with Kim and Connor. Number 1, it's normal to feel scared or confused at first. Connor's story shows that bruising, tests and hospital visits can feel overwhelming, but those feelings are completely normal and they get easier with time and support. Number 2, parents' instincts matter. Kim recognised early that something wasn't right with Connor. Trusting her gut and asking questions helped her to seek help, and this is one of the most important parts of getting the right diagnosis and care. Number 3, ITP can change daily life, but support makes a difference. Stopping sport, avoiding rough play, and feeling isolated at school were really tough for Connor. Support from teachers, friends, and family helped him stay connected and feel less alone. Number 4, treatment can help kids get back to just being kids. Starting medication gave Connor more energy, fewer symptoms, and the confidence to return to the activities that he loves. Number 5, you're not alone. Connection helps. Talking to others, sharing feelings, and meeting someone else with ITP make a huge difference, as it did for Connor. Number 5, you're not alone. Connection helps. Talking to others, sharing feelings, and meeting someone else with ITP can make a big difference, just like it did for Connor. Community support can help kids and parents feel connected and more understood. A big thank you to Connor and Kim for joining us today. It was so good to hear your story, and thanks so much for sharing. If you're looking for support, connection or information, visit itpanz.org.au. You'll find The Count, our quarterly magazine, patient stories, treatment information sheets, clinical guidelines and a wide range of resources designed to help you and your family feel informed and supported. Most importantly, you'll know that you're not alone. There's a whole community here just waiting for you. If this episode was helpful, please share it with others in the ITP community and leave us a review on your podcast platform. It helps more people find Beyond the Count. We've got more expert conversations, patient stories and more coming soon. So hit the follow or subscribe button to stay updated. Thanks for listening as we go beyond the count together.